Okay, we're given three pieces of information about an ellipse. The center's at -3, 2, which I've depicted right here in a little sketch. One of the foci is at -3, -5, which is right here, so I'll put a little F right there. And one of the vertices is at -3, -8. And these are the kind of pieces of information you have to remember in order to come up with the equation of that ellipse or any ellipse. The center, vertices, foci all lie on the major axis. So that means this is the major axis. And that in turn means that we're going to have an equation that looks like this, where hk is the center of the ellipse, and a squared will be under the y term, and b will be under the x term, because a is the distance from the center to a vertex, c is the distance from a center to a focus, and b is the distance from the center to a covertex. And of course, since the major axis is vertical, we want the a squared to be under the y. So how do we calculate the values of a, b, and c? And by the way, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. This is why a always has to be greater than b. So if the center is at -3, 2 and a vertex is at -3, -8, the distance from 2 to -8 can be calculated by 2 minus a -8. You could just count squares, but there's the calculation for A. And if you happen to say -8 minus 2, you'd get a -10. In that case, you'd want to use the absolute value. The C is the distance from the center to a focus. So from -3, 2 to -3, -5, that's a change in y. 2 minus a -5 is 7. So C is 7. Using c squared equals a squared minus b squared, we get this. 49 equals 100 minus b squared. So b squared equals 51. If you want to actually plot the vertices, the covertices, b is the square root of 51. So we're ready to substitute these values of a and b, h and k, into this general equation for an ellipse that has a major axis that's vertical. There's the equation right there. So x minus a -2 for the center is x plus 2 over b squared would be 51 plus y minus 3 quantity squared over a squared is 100 equals 1. And there is what the ellipse looks like. Okay, there's the center at -3, 2. There are the pieces that we were given, one focus, one vertex. You can add A and go up to get the other focus and the other vertex. And the covertices have coordinates starting at -3, subtracting B, which is the square root of 51. And of course, 2 is the y-coordinate of one of the covertices. And the other's -3 plus the square root of 51, comma 2. And that's what these decimal approximations are right here. Adding and subtracting the square root of 51 from -3. Okay, there you go. Hope that helped. And if you have any questions, post a comment.